Hello everyone, I'm sure you guys are doing good and studying good as well. Spend more time with the studies. Yeah, of course you should work, probably you can spend some time with the sports if that is very important. But your prime motive should be getting good with the studies, because that's going to give you a lot of things in the coming future. Don't waste time here and there. Our old people, our elders have told us time is money, that because you'll understand it after some time. And those people who can understand it now will be in the good position later on. Anyways, so yeah, the last video I have taught you about the vectors, types of vectors, their properties. Today I'm going to teach you addition and subtractions of the vector. These are two important components of physics, right? Yeah. Okay, fine. So let's I have two vectors. I can again try and gonna keep it as short as possible without wasting a lot of time. Let's say I have two vectors. Probably I can choose this to be A and this to be B. Right? I want to add these two vectors. Okay, fine. I say the angle between them is theta. Let's say theta. In mathematics, you will study detailed about the vectors, where we have the parallelogram rule, triangle rule. These all things are there. Okay, just for the briefing purpose, I'm going to tell you that if two vectors are there, we have to make a parallelogram using these two vectors as the adjacent side of the parallelogram, and the diagonal gonna give you the resultant. Right then, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna draw a line parallel to a vector, something like this. Let's say I'm making something like this. I'm gonna draw one more line parallel to vector B, starting from the head of this vector. I'm sure you remember tail and head concept, which I've taught you yesterday. Okay, let me just label it. Let's say this is O, A, probably B and C. I have labeled these vertices. So this become a parallelogram now. Since it's a parallelogram, these two sides are parallel, so I can say that this is nothing but vector B. I hope you remember the parallel shifting. If you do not remember, go back to my previous video, you can understand the parallel shifting of vectors. Now as per the law, what I told you, the diagonal of this parallelogram gonna give you the resultant of these two vectors, which is A and B, which is the addition of vector A and B. So I would write this R. What is R over here? R is the resultant vector of what? Of vector A plus vector B. Fine. So this angle was theta, that's what I've chosen in the beginning. Now let me choose this angle as alpha. This angle as alpha. So alpha is the angle that resultant is making with vector A. All okay? Now, so this is going to be theta minus alpha. That's going to be the angle with vector B and the resultant. So that we can do actually. Now the idea is, if it is A, if it is B, that's going to give me A plus B. And this is also called as a triangle law of vector addition. Now I'll talk about this very soon. As of now, so the idea is I need to find the value of OB. If A and B is given, with the angle between them is given, I have to find the value of OB. Okay, as of now, I cannot do much about this when it comes to the value, when it comes to the magnitude. So what we need to do, we need to form a triangle, in particularly a right angle triangle, where we can use the Pythagoras theorem and get the value of the hypotenuse. Remember, yeah? So can I just do one thing? Can I draw a perpendicular from here? Let's say like this. Yeah. Now I'm going to extend it over here. I'm sure this red color is visible, right? Okay, if not, let me use the black color over here. So let's say this is the perpendicular which I drew over here. Okay, let me say this is A, B, C, D, and I'm going to label it as E, and that's going to be the right angle. All clear? Look into triangle OBE. That's a triangle, that's a right angle triangle, where I can actually find the value of OB using Pythagoras theorem, which says that, I would write it here for you guys. So OB square should be OE square plus BE square. Fine. So as of now, I have no idea about the length of BE, and precisely I don't have an idea about the OE because AE is unknown to me. So what I'm gonna do? We know that these two lines are parallel. So if this is theta, I'm sure you guys agree this is also gonna be theta. Clear enough? Okay. So what I'm gonna do? Let me just make this triangle separately over here, and I'm gonna demonstrate how to find the values of the sides if an angle and one side is given. I'm going to label it as AEB, and that angle is theta, which is between AB and AE. So let me put theta over here. All okay? Now among these length AE, BE and AB, the value of it's complicated. The value of AB is given. So the value of AB is given, which is B, right? Okay guys, if I want to get this cos of theta is based upon hypotenuse. That's what we know. It means AE and the hypotenuse is AB, which is vector B. Can I say A should be B cos theta? Okay, now when we talk about these things, we actually talk about the magnitude, the length. We do not talk about the vectors over here. So let me just, A is equals to B cos theta. Likewise, if I write sin theta, I would be getting opposite over the hypotenuse, SOHCAHTOA, that's a rule. So BE over vector B. So I'm gonna get BE equals B sin theta. Okay now? Now I got the length of AE, I got the length of BE. So probably I can now use this Pythagoras theorem and get the value of OB. Okay, let me put it over here. BE, B is how much? B sin theta. चलो इसको लिख देते हैं B sin theta. What is the value of AE? It's B cos theta. Let me write here B cos theta. Okay, since I'm using the vector, let me put the vector. थोड़ा respect दिखा दे इनको, है ना? This give some respect. Now let us get back to the triangle OEB. Do I know the length of OE? Yes, certainly we know that. Do I know the length of BE? Yes, of course we know, which is B sin theta. Can I apply Pythagoras theorem now? Yes, we can apply that. So I can say that OB square is equals to OE square plus BE square. That's what we know about the Pythagoras theorem. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to put the values. Okay, so this is nothing but your resultant square. Let it be OE should be A plus B cos theta. I would write this way, A plus B cos theta whole square plus BE is going to be B sin theta whole square. Simple as that. Let me open it up. I'll be having A square plus B square cos square theta, that is A plus B whole square formula, you will apply that, times 2AB cos of theta, and here we have B square sin square theta. Clear? What I'm going to do now, I can see I have B square here as well as here. Can I take B square common from these two parts? Yes, we can. Certainly we can do that. So let me just take out B square common. I'll be having cos square theta plus sin square theta, and then of course this 2AB cos theta will be there. 2AB cos theta. Okay, let me make a little space over here. I'm sure you guys have noted it down. I'm gonna make slight space over here. Okay, I'm sure you guys know that cos square theta plus sin square theta is how much? 1, right? So now what I'm gonna have is R square should be A square plus B square times 1, gonna be B square itself, plus 2AB cos theta. This is gonna give me resultant as A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, and that's what we're looking for, isn't it? Okay na? Okay, one thing you just need to understand, this A, B are the length. Alright, their magnitude, so we do not have to put the negative or positive signs out here. They're just going to be the magnitude of the vector's length. All okay? Cool. So that is the resultant of sum of the two vectors. इसको लिख लो फटाफट, and this is going to be used. All clear? एक बात और बताना चाहता हूँ, the triangle rule, you know. चलो, okay, so let us go to that part, you know, the triangle rule. So I was talking about the triangle rule. Now होता क्या इसमें? Let's suppose if I have a vector A in this direction, I have a vector from its head going to this way, let's say B. You can see these two vectors are your clockwise, right? If I join this, let's say by from this point to this point in this direction, then that's going to be the resultant of these two. This is called triangle rule, which is a part of the parallelogram, hai na? At the same time, if I say I want to write, this is, let's say, A, let's say this is B, and let's say this is your C, aisa kuch hai. Then you can see these two vectors C and B are in the same direction, let's say clockwise. Then it should be A should be equals to C plus B. A bada important, yaad rakhna, hai na? So when the two vectors are in the same direction, sum of those two vectors is going to be equal to the vector which is in the opposite direction. You should remember that, hai na? Now let us talk about the subtractions of the vector. Vector subtractions. First of all, you need to understand there's nothing like vector subtraction. ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है. It's all about adding one vector with another vector which is going in the opposite direction, है ना? हमने कल बताया था, I've told you yesterday, anti-vectors, है ना? Okay. So if I say vector A minus B, basically it means vector A plus negative of vector B. ऐसा लिख देते हैं ना? Negative vector B. So ultimately what I'm doing, I'm adding two vectors. So negative B is a vector again, which probably in the side opposite to, in the direction opposite to vector B. I'm going to proceed with the same figure. Let's see if I have, this is vector B, this is vector A, and let's say this is, I'm going to make it slightly more inclined. Let's say this is vector B. Making an angle of theta in between them. If someone asks me what's going to be the difference of these two vectors, so what I need to do, I'm going to focus over here. I'm going to put that in mind, and I need to understand there's nothing like subtractions directly. It should be sum of one vector with negative of the other vector, and negative means opposite in direction. So what I need to do, I'm going to pull it up in this direction. Ye ho gaya? This is nothing but negative vector B. That's what we know. Towards right, if it is positive, then towards left it's going to be negative. And if you've chosen towards left as a positive, towards right should be negative. Okay, fine. If it is theta, I'm sure you guys gonna agree that this is gonna be 180 minus theta. Okay, na? All clear? Now I know these are the two vectors. I know resultant should be the diagonal of the parallelogram formed by these two vectors as the adjacent side. So that should be your resultant. Let me make a parallelogram, for your understanding purpose. So yeah, understand this is a parallelogram. Aisa kuch hai. Okay, let me make slightly better. ऐसा कुछ. I know the formula. I know the resultant is given as, okay, it should be magnitude a square plus b square plus 2ab cos of theta. That's the resultant. Alright then. So a gonna be a square. I should not write negative b. I told you it's a magnitude, so it should be positive b square plus 2 times ab cos of, now this time the angle between these two vectors is how much? 180 degree minus theta. It's not just theta. So cos of 180 degree minus theta. Now that's all. Okay, I'm sure you guys will have slight problem over here. So I can tell you the conversion of the angles over 180 degrees. एक छोटा सा notes बना लो यहाँ पे. Let me just divide this part. What happens on a quadrant, in the 4 quadrant, here all the angles are positive. Here sine is positive. Here tan is positive. And here cos is positive. Okay. Now we know that we have 3 basic trigonometrical identities: sine, cos and tan. Okay, 180 minus theta. Let's assume that theta is an acute angle that less than 90, should be more than 0. So theta, 180 minus theta will definitely be lying in this quadrant. Agree? And I know that only sine is positive over here, not the cos or the tan. So what happens over here, just make a note of this one. Sine of pi minus theta, pi resembles 180 degree. So that's going to be falling in the second quadrant. And I know that in the second quadrant sine is positive, so that's going to be sine of theta. Simple. Let's say cos of pi minus theta. Well, that's going to be lying in the second quadrant, and we know that cos is negative in the second quadrant, so it's going to be negative cos of theta. Likewise, tan pi minus theta should be negative tan theta. Okay, we can talk in detail about these things when I'm going to teach you the trigonometrical in the maths part. For now, we need to know that cos of 180 minus theta should be negative cos theta, right? So what I'm going to get over here is a square plus b square negative going to come out 2 times of ab cos of theta. So that's the resultant of addition of one vector with the negative of other vector. तो भाई ये हो गया आपका addition and subtractions of the vector. One more thing I want to tell you over here, in the same diagram, using the triangle rule, can I do the parallel shifting of this vector over here? Can I just get vector b over here, my negative b? This is nothing but negative b. Agree? Now let me make it blue in the color. So this, let's say this is a, this is b, this is c. Vector a is from a to b, vector b is from b to c. They both are in the clockwise direction, so the resultant should be anti-clockwise. Let me make it over here. Okay, na? So you can see that this plus this should be equal to that, isn't it? Yeah. And we know that the vector AB, so what I'm gonna use over triangle law of vector addition, it says that vector AB plus vector BC must equals to vector AC. Correct? What is AB? It's nothing but vector A. दिख रहा है आपने को, है ना? इसको थोड़ा क्लियर इधर लिख लो, वरना बोलोगे बाद में कि दिखा नहीं था वो. So this is vector A. Vector BC from B to C is nothing but negative B. Negative B. And what is this? Your resultant vector AC. Same, है ना? So yeah, that's all for today. In the next video, I'm gonna come up with some questions which need the vector laws, vector concepts. Thanks for watching. Keep studying and do like and share and subscribe if you like this video. Alright then, good luck.